Alright everyone, welcome to Physics Games. Today we're changing it up and playing some Risk of Rain 2. We've been playing a lot of Enter the Gungeon on this channel, and this game is similar in some ways and different in others. So rather than just diving directly into the gameplay, let's do a short little introduction first to cover some of those differences. Gungeon is a 2D top-down roguelike shooter which focuses on your guns, active and passive items, and your bullet hell dodging skills. There are several playable characters, each with unique starting items that make for a slightly different playstyle. However, because a lot of the gameplay loop in Gungeon revolves around getting that gun you like or the crazy active item you had before, each character's playstyle ends up feeling somewhat irrelevant by the end, at least in my opinion. And the gameplay is much more focused on your items and your synergies. Versus Risk of Rain 2, which is a 3D roguelike shooter that focuses almost entirely on passive items and your character playstyles. The addition of that one extra D is also huge. The bullet hell element is kind of gone, but the oh my god, there are so many enemies and the screen is just covered in them, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do element is turned up to the max. And again, the major difference of passive items dominating gameplay is very big. So in Gungeon, if you get a single copy of some passive item like, say, Scattershot or Bouncy Bullets, that will make a dramatic impact in how you play the rest of your run. As opposed to Risk of Rain 2, a single passive item, outside of, legendary items of course, isn't really going to dictate your playstyle, but maybe a stack of 20 of them will. So I personally like that Risk of Rain 2 approach a lot. Each character feels different, their uniqueness is important throughout the entire game. There is a smaller loot pool, but something about it just feels incredible, like ending the game with a stack of 20 soldiers' syringes and you're just firing your bow and arrow at the speed of a Gatling gun. It's just great. So that style is likely going to spill over into our game development videos when we eventually get into some more of that exciting stuff and not as much into this, I won't say boring, but not quite as catchy stuff here. So anyway, enough talking, let's play some games. I have something around like 200 hours in this game already and have pretty much everything unlocked. But if you're just starting this game out, then all you have is the Commando Character, so I'll start with that. He's pretty basic. Essentially, you're just going to hold down left click and never stop using your primary fire. Your secondary attack is going to shoot out a stronger short range spread, which does a ton of damage if you can get close enough. And your utility skill is either a dodge roll or a slide. Both give you some movement options and a little bit of dodge time. And your special skill is shoot, but better, where it shoots out a lot of bullets faster and it'll stun enemies as it hits them. So in game, you'll see another big difference between this and Gungeon is that chests and loot just kind of spawns everywhere randomly. There's no specified loot locations like in Gungeon where you have your 2 chest rooms per floor and then, there might be chests in the secret room or just random drops from rooms. It all just kind of gets slapped across the map randomly, and there's a bunch of different chest types. I'll throw those up on the screen now. Each one has some different items in it. But basically, the gameplay loop is still pretty similar. You're going to kill enemies, you get money for killing enemies, you're going to go ahead, open up some chests, get some loot, build up those stacks of common, uncommon, and all that, and hopefully find some good active items from those orange chests, and eventually find the teleporter, take on the boss, go to the next room, do it all over again. So in addition to loot being tossed around everywhere, they also have these shrines similar to Gungeon. This combat shrine will summon some enemies for you. It's not necessary, you don't have to do it to progress to the next level, but it does give you some extra loot. Well, I should say it gives you extra money which you can use to get loot. So usually it's worth hitting them, especially the early stages, when you're still on the easy mode up here. Which is another big difference to talk about briefly. In Risk of Rain 2, your biggest enemy is probably time. The longer you play for, the harder the game gets. You do obviously, get more items as time progresses, but still, the game scales faster than you probably will. We got the teleporter over here. You can see the little fireflies. That'll let you know where to go for the teleporter. Otherwise, it's pretty hard to find. You kind of just have to go through the whole stage. Speaking of stage, the map design in this game is very nice. There's only 2 maps that I actually don't like, but besides that, every single other one's pretty nice. It's easy to like memorize. There's a lot of verticality and a lot of like, I don't know, different areas that feel sectioned off, I guess. Like specifically in this map, we're on this upper plateau level, and earlier we were down below in this little like basin area, and it's easy to remember like, oh, I saw 2 chests down in that basin and there was one up here near this teleporter. It just makes it a little simpler, I think. Now for this first video, I'm really not sure how the quality's gonna turn out. My computer is not the best, so trying to run this game at pretty high settings and trying to record it at 60 FPS might be a little much. I'll have to see how this one turns out and then probably play around with the OBS quality settings. Maybe we can drop down a little bit on the quality encoding, still get a decent looking output. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, we'll see. We'll play it by ear. Yeah, this is one of those 2 maps that I said I specifically do not like. Everything is basically the same color. There's a few portions of the map that are underwater, and it's very hard to see if there's any items underneath them. So it's just annoying. I'm not a huge fan. Besides that, it's fine. Like, it's easy enough to remember where certain sections are, and the verticality is easy enough since there's most of these like tree plants or these broken columns that you can walk up. But still, the colors being all the same and the underwater parts just kind of ruin it for me, in all honesty. Trade some health for some money. This is one of those water areas. So the reason it's annoying is if there was a chest in here, like right next to me, I wouldn't really be able to tell until I go ahead and I move the camera so that I can look directly up. I don't know, just annoying. Oh man, the soundtrack to this game though, so good. You hear those guys rocking out in the background? They are absolutely shredding. Really gotta get rid of those brass contraptions ASAP. They will slap you. Oh, we were a little late. Didn't quite make it in time to open up that timed chest and get the Prion accumulator. These little scrap bots are nice. When you find 3D printers, they'll take these scrap first so I can feed it some items I don't really want, get some scrap out of it, and then next time I find a decent 3D printer, I know I can at least do 2 uses of it safely now. Oh, there it is, found the teleporter. Alright. Oh, nope. Well, that didn't go too well. But that's kind of an introduction there to Risk of Rain 2. Very fun game, would very highly recommend it. Pretty similar to Enter the Gungeon, like I had said, but does have a lot of those differences too. I think this will end up kind of bleeding over into the game development series, and I think, what's this saying? Good artists borrow, great artists steal. So we're basically just going to be stealing from both of those 2 games and then maybe adding a little bit of flair to make it different. But in any case, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.